Hello everyone, how is it going? It's Vandiril here. Have you ever wondered what happens if Master E alpha strikes into Master E that tries to alpha strike you, or what happens if Tryndamere spins into spinning Tryndamere? In this video I want to try to answer that question with few different examples. So we're gonna have Master E, Tryndamere, but also other champions like Maokai and Alistar. So let's get right into the first try. So this is probably the only one that will result in pretty much nothing going on. It's Alistar versus Alistar. If you ever played Earth as Alistar versus other Alistar, you know that if you both W at the same time, you will just go through each other without dealing any damage. That's how it goes, pretty straightforward. But it's time for Tryndamere. So Tryndamere is actually a really interesting one when it comes to this. So what we did is that I picked a Tryndamere with a skin on the blue side, and then we had Tryndamere without a skin on the red side. So what we did is that we tried spinning. I tried spinning earlier, I tried spinning later than the enemy Tryndamere, because maybe if the one spins faster, then he will get the kill, but that is not the case. I was also wondering if maybe having higher HP or higher AD will matter, but it turned out in the end it also doesn't matter. So after trying 6 times, it turned out that with a skin and on the blue side I always got the kill, and we really weren't sure why. So the next day I proceeded to try it one more time, and this time I was with a skin on the red side, and then the no skin Tryndamere was on the blue side. And basically what happened is that we got the same results. So every time the red team Tryndamere spinned into blue team Tryndamere, he died. And we repeated a lot of times. In total we tried it 15 times, and 15 times the blue team Tryndamere got the kill. Sometimes he had higher HP, sometimes he had lower HP, sometimes he had higher AD, sometimes he had lower AD, sometimes he was spinning first, sometimes second, but always blue team Tryndamere got the kill. I'm pretty sure it wasn't random, because if it was to happen randomly, then the chance of this happening is actually like 1 to 32,000, so it's almost impossible, but theoretically that can still be the answer. So then we tried the listen Q versus listen Q, and basically every time we tried it, it seemed like the listen with higher health will get the kill. It didn't matter who started Q first, who started second. It really seemed like the listen with higher health will get the kill and the other one will die. So we did it few times, and always the listen who had higher health won this trade. But keep in mind that theoretically it could have still been random, so maybe it doesn't really matter, but from what we observed, the higher health listen won this QQ battle pretty much. So when it comes to listen, we also decided to try the ult versus ult, and then we also did it a few times, and there was actually no real answer to it. Sometimes the listen who had higher health won, sometimes the listen who got lower health won, so it seems like in this case it seems to be pretty much randomized, so no matter what you have, it shouldn't really affect the outcome of it. What is also worth noting is that if you are the listen that dies in this exchange ult versus ult, your ult won't go on cooldown, so you will still have it up, so I guess that's a good part of it. So the next try was Master E Alpha Strike versus Master E Alpha Strike. So we did this several times, and we tried to find the single reason why this Master E will win over the other one. And we had one with skin and the other one without skin. So from all what I tried, the skin doesn't really matter, so you don't have to worry, it's not really pay to win. Skin doesn't matter at all in all of the tries. It also doesn't matter if you are the person that clicks first or the second, because in all of the tries we only clicked once. So basically we clicked once on each other, so we don't get like confusing results. And it doesn't really matter if you are the first one clicking or the second one clicking. But when it comes to the Master E, we tried it many times, but it turned out that it's actually pretty random, and we couldn't find a single thing that will decide whether you get the kill or not. So it seems to be pretty much randomized in Master E case. So then we tried DARIUS ULT, and we actually found some other interesting things in here. So in this try, the red Darius has higher health than I do, It seems that I did damage to him, but when you look really closely, my damage didn't really go off, but the ability went on cooldown. And here is the another try when I had higher health and he had lower health, and again I won this trade. So in what we tried, it seemed that the Darius that had higher health on level 1 ult will get the kill on the Darius that had lower health. So that's how it seemed on level 1 ult. And most of the time your ult won't go on cooldown. So the first try was different, but in most of the tries your ult wouldn't go on cooldown. Then we tried the level 2 ult versus level 1 ult, and it seemed that the Darius that had level 2 ult will always win over the Darius who had level 1 ult. Then we tried the level 2 ult versus level 2 ult, and it seemed like the target that has lower health will win, but it turned out that always the red team Darius won, so we were not really sure if it was because of the being lower health target or not. We also thought that it might be possible that the higher AD Darius will get the killing blow and the lower AD Darius will not, so we tried to mess a lot with this, but we didn't really get a single result that will confirm all of that. So in general it seemed like the higher AD Darius had the edge here, or the lower health Darius had the edge here. So I think when it comes to level 2 ult versus level 2 ult, when you are lower health, it actually makes sense for you to hit first. You can see in this trade I died, despite being lower health, but my ult went off and actually dealt damage to him, so if I had enough damage to kill him, he wouldn't be able to hit me. So maybe the lower health you have on level 2 ult versus level 2 ult, you will be able to deal the killing blow. And here you had the same thing. He had the higher health and I had the lower, and I still hit him first. And then when he hit his level 3 ult and I had level 2 ult, he started decimating me again. So it's really hard to decide what's the single factor behind it, but I would say that whether someone's higher HP or lower HP may actually matter a lot for Darius ult. So then we tried something simple, which was Maokai W versus Maokai W. We tried it a few times, and we couldn't really find a single factor that will decide whether you get the first W or you don't. It wasn't the one that got his W first, it wasn't the one that got it second, HP also didn't matter, or stats didn't matter, so it seems to be pretty much randomized. And when it comes to being randomized, actually Singed Fling works pretty much the same. As you can see, sometimes one got it, sometimes the other got it, so there wasn't a single factor that will decide whether you get it or not. So then we tried Tristana ult versus Tristana ult, and as you may think, it is actually possible to both die in this scenario, and that's what actually happens. It's one of the few spells that will work like this, but it is because it takes some time for ability to go off to the other target, and then they don't really interrupt each other, so that's why you end up in a double seppuku scenario. So the last try we did was Shen taunt versus Shen taunt, and it actually worked somewhat similar to Tryndamere E. What I didn't know is that both Shens can taunt each other at the same time, so I didn't know both Shens can be taunted at the same time, but also in this scenario only one Shen can die at the time, but it is possible for both Shens to deal damage, as you see in this clip. So despite one Shen dying, actually both Shens did damage with taunt, it seems. But when it comes to the results, it didn't really matter who channeled first or who was blue side or red side, it seems to be nicely randomized in this case. So yeah, I think that would be pretty much it in this video. If you liked it, then maybe like the video. If you didn't, then feel free to dislike the video. If you haven't subscribed to me yet, then you can also consider subscribing. So yeah, thank you guys a lot for watching. I know it was a pretty long video, but I wanted to show you some interesting interactions that go between the champions that use the same ability at the same time. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, take care guys, see you!